So, it has been like 2 months now of reading this. I started in May, like maybe a week or so into May. So maybe like around exactly a month of reading War and Peace, and I am reaching the final stretch. It's finishing. I'm finishing the book. Hopefully the book doesn't finish me, but we'll see. I'm on page 946, so like I've barely read more since when I like started making this video, but that's fine. I am approaching the 1,000 page mark, which is exciting, but also where we reach book 4 or volume 4, which is the last volume in the book. So that will really be like the final stretch. I'm not there yet, quite yet. I have like 50 more pages, and then like 300 something pages to finish. But it's happening. It will happen. And it will be good. It will be satisfying and happy, maybe sad, but we're doing it. I'm doing it. You might also be doing it. Good job if you are. If you want to hear me talking more about like beginning parts of this book, I've talked about it in other videos, so if like this is your first time here, you can hear there's other videos if you want to watch those. If not, then we can just talk about the end of the book. That's fine. I'm not going to be discussing any big spoilers. I might talk about like vague parts of the plot, read some quotes, and talk about ideas, themes being discussed in the book, but I'm not going to be spoiling anything, so don't worry if you're worried about that. But we're going to talk about it as much as we can, because I want to talk about it. So a big thing that Tolstoy has been discussing recently in this last chunk has been about history, the way that it is written and that we perceive it as people from the present into the past, how historians are writing it and how maybe it's not very accurate. Many times he's been like, historians are like, they say this has happened and like because of this, but he's like, nah, they're wrong, it was actually like this. And I'm like, I believe you. I believe you, Tolstoy. You could tell me anything happened, to be honest, I'd be like, yeah, you're right. Those historians, no. Which makes sense, because who is writing the history determines how it is told as well, but also discussions on how people kind of have a predetermined history. Not necessarily their actions are predetermined, but the way that they will be viewed is a predetermined thing. Man lives consciously for himself, but is an unconscious instrument in the attainment of the historic, universal aims of humanity. History, that is, the unconscious, general, swarm life of mankind, uses every moment of the life of rulers as a tool for its own purposes. And also just how events they can't really be contained in history the way that we try to contain them. To us, their descendants, who are not historians and are not carried away by the process of research, and can therefore regard the event with unclouded common sense, an incalculable number of causes present themselves. The deeper we delve in search of these causes, the more of them we find. And each separate cause or whole series of causes appears to us equally valid in itself and equally false by its insignificance compared to the magnitude of the events. So I've been enjoying reading about all of these ideas, along with just reading about the characters, their life, because Tolstoy is very good at writing characters and just making them real people. And yeah, I haven't felt too bored while reading this. I actually assumed I would feel more bored than I have since it's such a long book. There have been moments where I'm kind of like, I don't care, but less than I thought, so that's fun. It really has been a very readable book, other than the fact that it's 1,300 pages. But excited to keep going and finish this book, and I'll come back with more thoughts later, maybe some updates, what's happening. We'll see. The last 200-ish, I don't know, pages have been the hardest to read out of this whole book because so much of it is just boring. Either Tolstoy just rambling on about battles, military strategy, these people, or just right now the part I'm at, he's just talking about some random soldiers. I don't know who they are, I don't care. And so much of it is just hard to read because I don't care and I'm bored. And I'm not the type of person who can just... Okay, now it's all dark. Can you move? I'm not the type of person who can just force myself through reading that sort of stuff. So I've been reading 10 pages at a time because I'm the words are going in, but they're not, because I'm reading stuff and I'm what did I just read? I'm not even paying attention. It's I'm can we just talk about the actual plot and the main characters, because I don't care. And it's really making me want this book to be over now. It has been so worth it. Even with this end part, I think it's worth the read, but it's making me sad in a bad way. I don't want to be reading this. There has been some important things happening, some big moments, sad moments. There has been good parts within, the past whatever pages I have read, but it's overwhelmingly just much harder to read than the rest of the whole book. All those the 1,000 pages that I read before, much easier to read. It's fine. I'm on page 1178, and I did a little just a little flipping through. I'm trying to look out for characters I actually care about. And it's still 10 pages until I see Pierre being mentioned. So 10 more pages of probably just what am I even reading? I don't even, my brain is refusing to even take the knowledge into my head because it's no, I don't care. And that's a me issue, I guess, but maybe also the book, be better. Yeah, I was trying to wait until I got to the epilogue to update again, but I was I just can't. I need a break. I need a break. Yeah, because the epilogue is right at the end of this part. It's 40 pages? I don't know. Let's see if any of this information sticks in my head. because it really doesn't even seem like it's important. That's also why my brain is like, I am reading. I have retained some of it, okay? Don't worry, it's there. It's just hard. So, I'm about 50 pages from finishing. I was taking a little break before, and I'll probably start reading again now, I guess, but things did get better, and when it did get better, it was like so refreshing, and I was like, wow, the parts that are good are not even, they're great, you know? Really needed the little low point to appreciate the rest of it, huh? But, very close to finishing. I'm thinking that it will be finished. Like, that is the trajectory that we are on here. It will be done today. So yeah, things seem to be kind of wrapping up where I'm at right now. Yeah. So I finished all 1,300 pages of War and Peace. Let's take a moment. Are you clapping for me? Thank you, thank you. Here's the tab update. A lot of tabs. And unfortunately, Tolstoy did end this out by saying more boring stuff. The epilogue was split into two parts, the first part being dedicated to like the plot, the characters, the storyline, the second part, which was shorter, but like the very last part of the book was just him talking about his own ideas, philosophy, sort of. Hey, what are you doing? About history, power, the way events happen, causes of events, whatever. And I think he could have said it in fewer words. It could have been shorter, but it wasn't. It was long and boring. So I'm just gonna pretend that that was not a part of the book. You know, like all the boring stuff didn't even happen. It wasn't even a part of it because I loved every other part of the book. That ending on that is sad. So we're gonna say that didn't happen. That didn't happen. This video has had positives and negatives, but I want to say overall that this book and my experience with it has been positive, and I'm grateful that I have read it. So let's get into more overall thoughts now that I've finished the book. First things first, this taught me a lot about the Napoleonic Wars, specifically with Russia, obviously. I didn't really know anything about the Napoleonic Wars before going into this, and you don't need to really know much, because I didn't, and it was fine. I learned, things happened, and I got it. And I very easily became invested in the lives of all of these characters. If I liked them or not, it didn't matter. I was like, what's going on? What's going on with them? And their drama, because there's a lot of drama. Good drama. The tasty drama, you know? Which is great. We love that. And the writing was very simplistic, yet was able to evoke emotions easily. And there were some points where there was very beautiful writing and passages going on. So we loved that. My light blue tabs, like the light blue ones, are all like quotes and stuff, so quite a bit of that going on in there. And even though towards the end some of Tolstoy's ideas were a little boring for me, there was still a lot in here that he discussed that was interesting and was, you know, making you think a little, and you're like, wow, okay, he's kind of doing something here. He's, whoa, okay, Tolstoy. So that was good. That was fun. Is this the best book I've ever read? No, I don't think it is, but it is worth the read, and it was a fun time, you know? And the reading experience of this, I will remember for a long time. That in itself is rememberable and was just a good experience. And it was over a really long period of time, so that as well will make it memorable. But it has also made me more comfortable with reading big books. And by big books, I mean big books. I don't mean those puny little, like, 500 pages. No. We're talking big books. Which is fun, because I don't want to read, like, a humongous book every month or all the time. But sometimes you want to dive into it. You want to experience War and Peace. You want to experience the Count of Monte Cristo or something, which might be my next big book read. Though I do plan on reading Anna Karenina by Tolstoy, maybe later this year, so that one's pretty long as well. But I feel like I can dive into huge big books now easier, you know? Though there's always kind of like a fear, like a, you know? But it's easier. So grateful for this book. Really glad that I read it, but also happy that it's over, because it was weighing me down a little bit towards the end. Like, it was just taking me a really long time to read. But I think I'll miss the characters. But I can always just flip through, you know, and be like, wow, what was going on page 605? Oh, wait, what? Okay. Things were happening on page 605. More like 604, but whatever. If you're thinking of reading One Piece, I'd say give it a go. Because most of it is just a fun, beautiful, reality-filled time. Wow. Yeah. So now that I've finished the book, I get to put it on my shelves, because my shelves are only books that I've read. I keep my unread books separate, so I get to put it on there. I do feel a little sad putting it on the shelf. Like, I spent so much time with it, you know, it just goes on the shelf, but that's how reading goes, I guess. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Okay.